So with brand loyalty, like the main thing that we're measuring is a reorder rate on someone. So we take the customer's order feed, we separate orders and we're saying, oh, this group is going to get personalization. This group's not going to get personalization. And then we track at the individual level. Did this person receive a message? Did they reorder? What was the time frame? What's like their average order value? To come up with, okay, personalization is increasing your reorder rate 5%, 10%. And when you are able to measure out things like, oh, the AOV has gone up here $7, you can come back and say, all right, so we know this personalization or this campaign is worth X dollars. And so we'll build out campaigns for every single audience and then come back and measure what's the value of this audience? What's the potential opportunity there if we optimize it further? And then we show people like, hey, here's what you've got with personalization. Here's what you've got without it. And I will say the vast majority of people don't ever stop being customers simply because they can check the data on their own. Like it's not a mystery to them. We're taking their order feed and all they have to do is look up their own order feed and be like, oh my God, this is really working or this isn't working. So it's not behind a wall or anything. It's really nice.
But I am the world's biggest super fan.
You're like a super fan.
Welcome to the Business Superfans Podcast. We will discuss how establishing business superfans from customers, employees, and business partners can elevate your success exponentially. Learn why these advocates are a key factor to achieving excellence in the world of commerce. We discuss the invaluable insights of business owners who have successfully implemented the strategies in the book to build their own team of devoted superfans. Gain insightful knowledge from the experts who create applications that help you create passionate superfans. This is the Business Superfans Podcast with your host, Freddie D.
Ready!
Tyler Delarm is the head of marketing at an unbox experience platform called Undigital and one of the brilliant minds behind unboxing marketing. He teaches DTC brands how to build relationships, drive repeat business, and apply performance marketing tactics to their most underutilized touchpoint, the unboxing experience. As a seasoned business leader and marketing consultant, Tyler has a reputation for guiding successful teams with optimistic kindness. He has spent much of his career designing customer and employee engagement strategies around a notion that companies chase revenues and brands build relationships. His unique combination of expertise and brand positioning, organizational behavior, and demand generation has been instrumental in adding millions of dollars in annual revenue for multiple companies. Tyler holds a Master of Business Administration from the University of Cumbria. He maintains a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt certification and is perhaps most well known for his work developing the unboxing marketing strategies used by major DTC brands to personalize their unboxing experiences. Outside the office, Tyler is a deeply involved parent, an enthusiastic pet owner, a creative musician, a prolific writer, a passionate traveler, and a dedicated student of life. Welcome, Tyler Delarm, to the Business Superfan Podcast. How are you this afternoon?
Frederick, it's a marvelous day. Any day I'm breathing. A great day.
I agree. Any day it is top side is good.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Tell me, Tyler, how did you get to where you are with Undigital?
All right. So when I started here a couple years ago, the company had already existed for a while. But basically, the origin of the company is that our founder, Ryan Millman, he has several different D2C brands, and they ship out quite a few packages. And one day he's out in the warehouse and just seeing all these packages. How do we use this to put a smile on a customer's face? Because they're really big on customer relationships and building out these super fans that will go on to increase their revenue and drive loyalty. He's trying to figure out how to get the packages to put a smile on the customer's face. And at first they started sampling with, maybe we put a handwritten note in there. They put some notes in, and then it got to be like, all right, this is a lot. We love the result, but how do we expand that? And then they started building technology that became a platform. And later that was just rolled out to all the other customers. And at some point they're like, this has generated so many super fans for us that we just need to go ahead and figure out a way to bring this to other people. This could be its own product.
Okay. What is the product that you have nowadays?
Sure. We have what you call an unboxing experience platform, and it works a lot like an email platform. We help customers to have a strategy around what goes in the box, what message goes in the box. On the fulfillment side, right, like when they go to ship an order,
Mm-hmm.
a personalized print comes out and goes into the order. And that personalized print can say, "Hey, Frederick, thanks for ordering this. Here's some other things that you might like." It can say pretty much anything that they want. Whatever personalization data the customer has can go on the page. So
Okay.
these personalized flyers end up not only just generating revenue, but really making customers much happier because they're getting message that's individual to them. Like it's one-to-one messaging in every package.
Because one of the things that I've learned over the years in marketing is if I send you, let's say, a water bottle that has just your logo on it, it's about who? It's about the
Right.
company. I add a name to it now. So here I got the same water bottle, but with my name on it. Now it's about me. So what you guys are doing is really the same thing in a similar fashion, but a little bit different, is you're sending out a personalized message to that individual versus a generic one, which is night and day difference.
Oh, absolutely. The adding in personalization is how we help people to build relevance with the audience to get the right message. The example I like to use is if I am coming home and I'm like, "Hey, honey, I saw a cat outside." That's interesting. That's the response she's going to get. But if I say, "Hey, honey, your cat just ran out the front door," right? There's action. That's
Right.
immediate. That's relevant to me. I've got to go do something now.
Yeah, exactly. Very straightforward there because it's really all about building the relationships with your internal team, your customers, and of course, all the complementary businesses, the suppliers. That whole ecosystem needs to have that personalization.
Yeah, it does. And when the messaging that you use isn't personal, right? Like if you're marketing to everyone, you're essentially marketing to no one.
Correct. So let's talk a little bit about how businesses can utilize this to really make themselves stand out against the competition and create their own super fans because of the personalized messaging within the packages that are going out or the messaging that goes out, whether it's online or a physical item.
Sure. Unboxing marketing is a thing that a lot of businesses are already doing. They may be putting a flyer in, they may be putting in a handwritten note. The thing that they are probably not doing is segmenting that well and being like, "Oh, this is this person's first time ordering, or this is their second or third order, or this is based on the products that they put in the package." Where we can help business is taking those different segments and building out the messaging in such a way that it drives the conversion. Like we want them to, for instance, if they buy that specific product, we want them to give them like, "Hey, here's how you use this. Here's how you get the most value out of it quickly. If you love this product, like here's how you refer people." What we see a lot of businesses do is, "Oh, we're just going to take this one flyer and put it in every box." And a lot of people come to us and they're like, "Oh, we've tried putting flyers in the boxes in the past and it didn't get us good results." It just goes back to the marketing to everyone thing, right? Like if they're not segmenting it, it doesn't really add value.
They can't relate to it. It doesn't matter. When I was working with a interpreting company, we created the messaging based upon the market segment that we were targeting. So we presented a problem that they were experiencing. So if we were going with, for example, immigration lawyers, we presented the challenges of language barriers and all that stuff and how we solved it. And that in turn got them to contact us because they go, "Oh, yes, I can relate. I have this
Yeah.
issue. I'm going to call these guys," versus "Look how wonderful we are." And nobody cares because it's not relatable.
You're spot on. And that's the difference between throwing something generic in a box and personalizing it. Like the personalized marketing in your packages is 10x ROI for like almost across the board. Like people just have to put in the effort. If you learn to communicate with your customers and figure out what their problems are, what their needs are, and how to say, "Hey, we hear you, we see you, we're solving this," or "We're happy to have you. Thanks for being with us for so long." Like recognizing that relationship is a huge step forward. And when you're not doing that, like you're really just missing the boat on. Yeah, if you're in D2C and you're shipping unboxing experiences, you're missing your most important touch point.
Absolutely correct. Because one of the things I wrote in my book is People will crawl through broken glass for appreciation and recognition.
Yes.
And so what you guys are doing is you're one, in a sense, expressing appreciation as well as recognizing them all in the same time, the way with the approach that you're utilizing, which, like you just said, is a game changer versus the generic aspect. And more importantly, what I really liked was that you mentioned that you actually give them information and how they can utilize whatever that product is. And so now it's not just here it is, but here's some applications that I can utilize it maybe that I didn't think of. And then the other cool part that you mentioned was the fact that you actually tell them how they can refer it. So now you're automatically building in that super fan aspect of them that say, hey, if you love this thing, here's how to promote it. And now they become the sales force for that company.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a huge gap when you're sending out a message that doesn't give them a next step. Hey, here's how to continue our relationship should be a part of every message, whether that's in a box or an email. You've got to give people the next step.
Right. So go on. You mentioned when we talked earlier about being able to track behavior and then continuing that messaging and providing additional services based upon the feedback that you get from the behavior of the recipient.
Sure. So with brand loyalty, like the main thing that we're measuring is a reorder rate on someone. So we take the customer's order feed, we separate orders, and we're saying, oh, this group is going to get personalization. This group's not going to get personalization. And then we track at the individual level. Did this person receive a message? Did they reorder? What was the time frame? What's like their average order value? To come up with, okay, personalization is increasing your reorder rate 5%, 10%. And when you are able to measure out things like, oh, the AOV has gone up here $7, you can come back and say, all right, so we know this personalization or this campaign is worth X dollars. And so we'll build out campaigns for every single audience and then come back and measure what's the value of this audience? What's the potential opportunity there if we optimize it further? And then we show people like, hey, here's what you've got with personalization. Here's what you've got without it. And I will say the vast majority of people don't ever stop being customers simply because they can check the data on their own. Like it's not a mystery to them. We're taking their order feed and all they have to do is look up their own order feed and be like, oh my God, this is really working or this isn't working. So it's not behind a wall or anything. It's really nice.
Very cool. Continuing on that thread is how important is it to actually be tracking your stuff? Because a lot of small businesses and mid-sized businesses do marketing, but they don't really do a good job of tracking. How is that important? Is that data to be able to properly engage the audience?
Oh, you could solve so many people's marketing issues with it. Okay, so in general, if you're marketing just purely based on your gut, you're probably wrong. I can't tell you how many times that I've thought in my head, like, this campaign's gonna be great. And not just on digital, right? Like at any company where I'm like, this
Sure.
is gonna kill it. This is gonna be amazing. And it comes back and it's not. And then the thing that sometimes I think is probably isn't gonna do that well, that ends up being the thing that's amazing. So I would say marketing with your gut is never a good idea. You should be tracking the data. You should be tracking the outcomes and only the ones that you're going to use, right? If it's not relevant to you, what pages they visited every single time. Like if you're a small business, please don't try and go and figure that out if you don't have the resources or the money. It's not. We focus on one main metric and that's just their reorder rate. Yeah, there's other things like their AOV and stuff, but if you're a small business, figure out what that metric, what that KPI is, the one thing that matters to you most, and put a system in place for it. Like that anybody can track one thing. Then try it. Once you've got the ability to track it, then just figure out like how do you move the needle, right? What works, what doesn't work.
Right. You
What's
got to be
moving you
able
up.
to pivot, tweak, adjust,
Yeah.
reassess, tweak, pivot, adjust. And that's exactly what we got to do.
Yeah.
Tyler, can you share like a story of how the service impacted one of your customers that utilize it and how it transformed their business?
Sure. So for some of our clients, they haven't put anything in the box before. And for them, that's like the biggest win. Like they're moving from having never used the touch point to suddenly they've got an active touch point that's driving revenue. I'll say for our average customer, we can attribute like 2 to 5% of their revenue back to what they're doing just out of the unboxing experience. So if you've never used it before and you just turn it on and wow, we're suddenly getting 5% more revenue. That's an enormous win for most people.
Sure.
I can tell you that a lot of people come to us and they've been handwriting notes, right? And so to move from I was handwriting 1,000 notes a month to this is fully automated is a huge win labor wise. Some people have a complicated product, right? Like they've got feeding guidelines for their food and they need to give every single person like, hey, here's your custom diet, here's how it works, or here's the QR to your personal diet. And that ends up reducing their customer support inquiries because people don't have questions like, hey, is this too much for my dog? Is this the right amount? What am I supposed to give them? Works the same with beauty routines, anything that has a lot of questions. It's a great win. Your biggest wins, though, for people could come from people with loyalty programs. You're you're able suddenly to target the people who aren't in your program, be like, "Hey, you're not in our program. Here's the benefit." Or, "Hey, you're not in our program. Here's a personalized offer just for you. If you join, you're gonna get this. Hey,
We're
you've
getting
got this."
reviews, asking for
Exactly.
reviews.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the reviews is the new word of mouth today. That's important. You think about it whenever you go with your companion out to dinner, we all take a look at our smartphone, we look at what the restaurant is, and we look at what the reviews are.
Guilty as charged.
We all do it now. It's standard operating procedure. You're driving and say, okay, what do you feel like? I don't know. Let's take a look. What's in the area? Oh, that place. No, we're not going to there. So totally makes sense. So that's a great way to ask for a review in a nice manner.
Yeah. And there's other great use cases that most people I don't think of considered, but using it for make good campaigns. So let's say you ship a product, the product arrives broken, and your customer comes back and you're like, hey, this is broken. Now you can send back, hey, Susie, sorry about your makeup. Here's this, plus a large sample of something else. If you need anything else, you give me a call. And all of that's automated, right? It doesn't have to be a person that handwrites it every time, but to the customer, it is handwritten. And sometimes the customers write back to the company and they're like, hey, thank you for doing this. Yeah. I think it's a really cool technology. There's a lot of opportunities there.
So how can you share a little bit about how it works and so that the audience has an idea of how this can be implemented for their business?
Sure. Okay. So if somebody's not using Undigital and they want to do this on their own, the easiest thing they can do is start with handwritten notes and maybe even a generic handwritten note that they just believe the first name off of it. So they print out a bunch of these notes and they just write the first name on top, set them into their boxes. That's the quickest way to do first name personalization for a small, medium business. If you're somebody that's looking into like how do you do this with a platform and automation, basically with Undigital, we would take in their order feed, and then there's a platform that they would upload templates into. Think of Mailchimp or Canva or something. There's templates that they build out. That's oh, we want this to go out to this audience, and then as the packages are being fulfilled, depending on what their fulfillment style is, because not everybody's like using pack stations or a conveyor line. Like we have a system that's set up so the piece that gets printed out somewhere in their fulfillment process, whatever works for their team. And then it just goes into the box. The operator doesn't need to know who it's for. It's just the right message to the right person every single time. So if it's their first time ordering, that's the campaign that comes out. If it's for somebody who's not yet a subscriber and they want to become a subscriber, that's the one that pops out. So there's logic that we help set up and a strategy. We'll build out a strategy and say, hey, here's what could generate your 5x ROI. And if we just build up these campaigns for you, that's what's going to turn over a profit. And most people are just like, yeah, let's do that. Other people want to build their own campaigns and we support whatever they need.
Okay. What about, I'm just going to throw this out there, is
Sure, sure.
what about somebody that does like print on demand kind of stuff where they're selling t-shirts and things like that? Is there a way that can be hooked up to those type of businesses?
So for anybody doing less than 5,000 orders a month, I don't think the technology exists anywhere in the world yet for that person. That person really would have to rely on like doing their own handwritten notes.
Okay. So what is an ideal customer for Undigital and the Unbox experience?
Anybody over a couple thousand orders a month has great potential. Somebody that is expecting to build long-term customers and super fans, obviously. Like if they're selling a one-time product, they expect no one's ever going to order again from them. Like, all right, that's not a good fit. And we would tell them, obviously, hey, like, this isn't for you. We're not out trying to convince everybody this is for them. But for the people that want to do relationship building and have long-term customers that order from them regularly, you're over a few thousand orders a month. Like, those are the people we want to talk to.
Okay. So, for example, mentioned beauty supplies. You mentioned somebody does food, for example, an organization that sends pre-prepped meals out. What other industries?
Oh, wow. So I would say that we're in most industries. So like the big one, right? Beauty, nutrition, pet, clothing, like any kind of apparel stuff. You see a lot of these D2C consumer brands with I can tell you the industries that don't necessarily make sense for us, like people maybe selling coffins or like services. It it's few and far in between who we wouldn't recommend this to.
So it's mostly people that have a product that gets shipped out. It would be the
Yes.
ideal customer
If
for you guys.
if you're shipping regularly to the same person, you're in. That's a good fit for you.
So tell me a little bit more about the service and how it works and some other clever usage for it.
Sure. So we talked about doing make good with customer support, getting people into your loyalty program. You should also build out campaigns for the people that have been in your loyalty program for an extended period. Your first time customers, those are a big win. First time customers, everybody should be doing something really special for their first time customers because
Absolutely.
that person is just buying into the relationship for the first time. Send them something big, send them a cool message. I can't tell you how big a difference it makes when you have a first time customer campaign in place. So if you're listening, you're trying to figure something out, do something for your first time customers. So outside of your first time customers, your big wins come from looking at how often is somebody ordering. Is it their first order, second, third, fourth, and then building a campaign for each of those orders. So we call it an order count campaign series. Once you look at how frequently they're ordering, you can see where your drop off is, right? You can see, this
Mhm.
person is likely to discontinue ordering from us at order 4. All right, go into order 4 now and figure out what are you gonna say to get them to order 5, and just keep going. That's how you build up these people that have a long-term relationship with you. You're providing a value to them, right? Because, like, when somebody stops ordering from you, what you're really hearing is, "I don't need this anymore," or, "I've moved somewhere else. I've gone to someone else," essentially, and you need to figure out, why is my average customer losing their perceived value here? Like, why do they find something else better? And figure out what can you offer or put in the box that's gonna keep them into order 5. That's really what we encourage people to do when they're figuring out their segments, right? So they build out their different audiences, and then they just try to figure out how do you extend those relationships further.
Yeah, because people don't feel appreciated, they don't feel recognized, they're gonna drift, they're gonna go someplace else, just like you mentioned. And so it's really important maintain that relationship as you guys have a nice platform that does that in an automated fashion, yet personalized, which is really cool. The other aspect is, like you mentioned, that first time customer. One of the things I've learned and teach people about sales is the sale isn't the signing of the deal or them processing the credit card through the online platform to buy the product. The sale is after that transaction takes place, all the events that happen, that's the sale
You're absolutely right.
because it's the whole customer experience aspect of it. Is there a thank you? Is there a follow-up? Is there a multitude of different touch points beyond that? You guys have that in an automated fashion that creates that customer experience to convert them or transform them into a super fan. And man, this company is really cool. And now they start telling all their friends about it. We talked about earlier that you create not only a loyalty program, but you inform them on how they can refer the product. So you're engaging them to become your sales force, aka super fan, that's promoting it to everybody that they know. And you can't buy that kind of marketing.
You're right. You're right. The unboxing experience is the biggest driver of user generated content there is for a touch point, right? If somebody's not using it to try and get a customer excited and be like, "Hey, check out what I got," or "Look how this came," they're missing the boat. They're leaving revenue on the table.
Absolutely, because that person has friends over and they say, "Hey, look at this package I got and look at this little note that I received and how cool is that?" That energy transforms and people go, "Wow, look at that company, check it out." And it's just those little things are the big things.
Yeah, the unboxing experience is irreplaceable, right? Every single person gets it, 100% open rate. If you were going to tell an email marketer, hey, this is going to be read by 100% of people, what would you put in that? And that's what should be in your unboxing experience.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. It should start off with you being grateful for them being a customer. It's amazing how many people forget to say thank you.
It really is. But marketing aside, like that applies to so many other things in life where
Yeah.
we should all be a little bit more gracious.
Yeah. It's the little things that are the big things. Because what you talk about is also what I called in one of my chapters is the unexpected extra. And so you're adding in a little bit of an unexpected extra in the way you're communicating with the recipient of the package is they're not expecting that. They're expecting the package, here's the instructions on how to use it, and that's it. We get stuff from Amazon all the time, and here's your box, and here's your stuff, and there you go. What you guys are doing is completely game changing. And I really like this unbox experience because now all of a sudden that person goes, oh, wait a minute. I got my little package, but then there's this note and it's, wow, this is cool. It says, thank you for being a customer and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. It's stuff that I talk about in my book. So this is a perfect opportunity to blend what you guys are doing and what I talk about, which is transforming the whole business stakeholder experience from employees, customers, complementary businesses into brand advocates that I call business superfans.
Yep. You got to have an end-to-end strategy for it. That's for sure. What I think it's interesting that basically every marketer can agree, like personalization works. And any place that they go to personalize tends to generate results. But very few people seem to be figuring out like, how do I do this in the box?
No, it's an important trend because you're differentiating yourself. That's really the biggest thing is you're differentiating yourself versus the other company, your competitors. And that little extra is the difference. I'll share a quick story. Is a different experience, but similar concept. We ordered food from a restaurant and I went to go pick it up. Got there and no order. They never got the order. I showed them the phone. I called and they apologized. They got the manager. The manager says, okay, we'll cook the food. He's bought me a beer while I waited. Came back and we checked the order and one of the orders was wrong. So it's going downhill fast. The manager apologized, says he's going to make sure it's all done. He comes back and we double check and he goes, hang on a second. And this is similar to an unbox experience. He goes back, comes back with a couple cheesecakes, puts them in there as dessert for the inconvenience and everything else. He asks, how much do I owe? He goes, nothing. It's our mistake. And he goes, and by the way, and this is the little unbox thing, here's 2 $5 discount coupons for both of you, not just one, for both of you guys to come back here.
Yeah,
So
that's perfect.
we're super fans of that place. I'm just telling you the story of that
Yeah.
place because, and their food's great. Somehow things got messed up, but they went above and beyond and did the unexpected extra to turn us into a super fan of that restaurant.
Yeah. And what did that cost them? Like time, a few ingredients to get a long-term customer. That's a calculated decision that I think most people should be making. Like, how do we fix stuff that's broken? How do we make this right?
That's one of your things about your platform is it has that ability to say, okay, acknowledge something and you can send out a personalized note
Yep.
and stuff like that. It says, hey, we understand, John or Susie, that this has got messed up. We really apologize, but here's what we're going to do to get it fixed.
Oh, absolutely. Personally, right, I think the technology that we're building is the most exciting thing in D2C. There's so many opportunities to drive revenue there, and it's so easy to figure out, okay, this audience could drive a lot of revenue, or this change could mean a lot to our organization. And I think that's an insight that most companies are like, they don't have available to them yet.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I'm thinking is that this can be used for birthday marketing.
Right?
One thing that people overlook, and I'm going to share a tip here that you guys can utilize, is Thanksgiving is the ideal time to reach out to your customer base and say, I'm grateful for you and thank you for a customer because it's Thanksgiving, giving thanks.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
Thanksgiving is an ideal time to say thanks to all your customers. And then the other thing that I see that this can be used as that I've recommended to businesses is Halloween is a fun, goofy time. So you can reach out to your customer base again and suppliers and whatnot and acknowledge in a fun way. You're creating some certain touch points between the end of the year for the beginning of the upcoming year.
So you've already picked up on a lot of it. So maybe you should be an unboxing marketer too. You've got this already, right? Around your birthday. So we don't always ship, like somebody doesn't always ship a box to someone on their birthday, right? But if, oh, their birthday is 2 months from now and they make an order, it's like, hey, we know your birthday's around the corner. Here's this. Happy birthday early or on the holiday stuff. You're right. Every holiday should have a campaign or a theme or something like it, depending on their resources and how many campaigns that they're using. They could put something in the box. It's not hard. Change it up. Like you don't want to send the same thing over and over.
No, you want to leverage it. And that's why I've mentored people Halloween, Thanksgiving, and holidays. And don't talk about your product or services. It's time to one, have fun. Two is say thank you. And three, happy holidays and hope you a happy new year and zip it on the rest of the stuff. Now you've positioned yourself top of mind and the new year comes along. You're going to keep that customer.
You're right. You're right. Well, some of the campaigns that we've seen, like around the birthdays, right? That's a great call out because those have been really successful. Like when somebody feels appreciated by a brand or they're recognized on their birthday, like we see that shared all the time. That's a solid idea.
Yeah, because that might be the only birthday recognition they got.
That
Yeah,
is
we never think
unfortunately
about
true.
that, but it could be an elderly person, and that's it. That's their only recognition, and you've just made that person's day by recognizing them for their birthday.
Do you ever find it hard to convince other marketers or other people in business that relationship building is really the way to go? Because I do get occasionally people thinking, my customers do not have a relationship with our company. I'm like, yes, they do. They absolutely do. If you're not cultivating, that's an issue.
Yeah, I just worked with a company. I'm not going to name the industry or nothing like that, but their mindset, and I stopped working with them because their mindset was cemented, was that we do excellent work and they do good work. And so therefore people should be coming back to us.
Okay.
Look with that.
Exactly. It's a very strong position. Wow.
I try to convince them that no, you got to go build relationship. You got to follow up. You got to engage with these people. The mindset that our work speaks for ourselves and people should know our reputation. Good luck with that, buddy. Because that's only goes so far and that's it.
Yeah, there are so many people in the world building a great product or creating great art that we're never going to hear of because they're not good at the relationship aspect. Yeah,
People buy from people that they like and trust.
that's so true. Oh my gosh, it's so true.
I've worked with certain industries where they've done an excellent job. They say thank you and all that stuff. And then you never hear from them again. Mind boggling because that customer is their gold. And that whole existing customer base is their potential superfans marketing machine that is not being leveraged. So what you guys
Yeah,
are doing is leveraging that marketing machine of that business's customer base.
yeah, absolutely. Because like when we're trying to figure out your segments, so we go in and see which ones are most loyal, which by loyal, who's reordering the most, right? That's what we focus on to figure out those loyalty metrics. We just figure out what is the message for this person? How do we build something for this person? And sometimes people are like, oh, we'll just put in another insert or put in this thing about the product. Yeah, you can do that, but that's something for everyone. How do you build something for this one particular audience? You need to build something special. And so it can sometimes be a lengthy conversation getting them there. I feel like we get most people over it and they're like, I see we're trying to connect with somebody. We're trying to build something unique to this person and not just like a flyer that we could hand out on the street.
Yeah. It's all about what's in it for me, WIFM.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, we're coming to the end here. So, let's talk about what kind of offer do you have for our audience to check out the unboxed experience?
Okay, sure. So if you're looking into enhancing your unboxing experience, whether you use us or not, you can go to undigital.com. We've got guides, we've got different resources that you can take and apply to your own unboxing experience, whether you work with us or not, right? So go check out undigital.com, dig into it for a minute, If you have any questions or you need any help, just chat us or give us a call, shoot us an email on the site. We'll help you build out strategies and give you all sorts of advice for free. So whatever you need, just hit us up.
Perfect. All right, Tyler, thank you very much for being on the Business Superfans podcast. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you, and we look forward to having you on the show down the road.
Frederick, sir, you have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to today's Business Superfans podcast. If you found value in our dive into creating superfans for lasting success, show some love, hit like, and subscribe for future episodes, and share with your network to spread the insights. Your support is everything and fuels more content to boost your business success. Stay tuned, Superfans Superstars. Thank you for tuning in to today's Business Superfans podcast. If our exploration of creating superfans for lasting success struck a chord with you, show some love. Like us, subscribe for future episodes, and share with your network to spread the wisdom. Your support fuels us to craft more valuable content for your business success. Keep rocking, Superfans Superstars. Attention business owners. Are you looking to transform your employees, customers, and business allies' relationships and elevate your brand to new heights? Join the Business Superfans Accelerator today. Led by me, Freddie D., this dynamic mentorship program empowers you to turn your stakeholders into passionate superfans, the ultimate brand advocates who actively promote your business. Imagine a community of dedicated supporters promoting your products or services not just through word of mouth, but as proud champions of your brand. With exclusive access to monthly Q&A sessions, brainstorming opportunities, and valuable resources like online courses, playbooks, and much more. This program is designed to provide you with the tools you need for sustainable, profitable growth. Don't wait. Every moment you delay allows your competition to get ahead. Sign up now at bizsuperfans.community and start unleashing the potential of your superfans today. Your brand's transformation awaits. Let's make business growth your reality.
We hope you took away some useful knowledge from today's episode of the Business Superfans podcast. The path to success relies on taking action. So go over to businesssuperfans.com and get your hands on the book if you haven't already. Join the Accelerator community and take that first step in generating a team of passionate supporters for your business. Join us on the next episode as we continue guiding you on your journey to achieve flourishing success in business.